Welcome to another episode of Open Floor. I'm your boy Kevin Lewin. Today we have Talia in the building.
Hi.
Yeah, man. Talia has been my physiotherapist for more than a year now. She came highly recommended. And she's also the face behind the stuff that I post on Facebook. So when you see me post a little verse them and thing, the song them, she posted. So credits to Talia. I call her Talia, but you don't know Natalia. See? So Natalia, tell the people a little bit about yourself now.
All right. I'm not going to brag too much, but my name is Natalia Garvey. I'm a registered physiotherapist. I've been practicing officially since 2019, graduated 2019, been practicing since. Originally from Kingston, but I moved to Mobi in 2020. I guess maybe to come see Kevin here clearly.
Yes. Let's
You
do
know.
the energy.
But, I'm more or less laid back, our sessions are usually filled with all kind of variety. We have a lot of fun.
Facts.
I wear many hats. Counselor,
Yeah, and
psychiatrist.
she's stronger than how she looked to you.
Don't give the people my secret. But yeah, so what you see is what you get. Pretty open. If you have any questions about physio, you can always come. I have no problems answering. But you'll learn about me as we go along. Don't worry. It won't be my last time appearing here, So I'm here.
Yeah, I hope, for real. It's not going to be. All right, first thing I want to ask you, being a female in this kind of profession, like, do you feel that you guys get the same kind of acknowledgement as, like, your male counterparts? And the reason I ask you that, you see, all right, for me, my physiotherapist before you, while I was in Kingston, she was a female. And, she's small built. And the first time I saw her, I was like, yo, I wonder if she can really manage this thing. But, I learned that you shouldn't really look at someone's size because, they are the ones in the profession. So they would know, like, what to do, etc. So I was wrong, I never had any, like, doubts still, but, a little concern. But then I realized after a while, it's not really about strength. It's really about knowing your craft. And we're still good friends too, So, yeah, man, big up yourself, who you are.
Right. So, I guess it depends on the area of physio because, we have a vast range of physiotherapists that we practice, meaning topics or, let's say, types, for want of a better word. In terms of the lifting and the transfers, that's probably why, because, you had a lot of lifting and transfers, but you'll find that it's not necessarily strength. A little bit has to do with the strength, but it's more the biomechanics, meaning how you go about safely doing it. So sometimes I just the craft. That's what the young people would say.
Yeah, and people,
Right.
I'm very paranoid. I will tell you still. Like,
Very. We've gotten a little better though. Let's just say
every time
this much better.
Jaja.
So, but it's more about just the biomechanics of it, and I guess it depends on which aspect of physio that we're doing, because some people tend to prefer female physiotherapists, especially like maybe older women or so forth. So it really just depends on the person and their condition that they're battling with or that they need help with.
Okay, cool. What would you say the majority of patients that you see, what kind of injuries they have?
A whole host. So I have, of course, the spinal cord injuries. I have some strokes. I love women's health. So, pre and post pregnancy, or if you had prolapse, just to name a few. I love the kids, the babies. I know a lot of physios won't agree with me, but I love the babies. So we have like the cerebral palsies or Erb's palsies, so the cerebral palsy is usually when kids have, sometimes you see some bigger children in their parents' arm and they look like they can't really move, or I don't want to use the word that Jamaican people use, but especially impaired kids.
Hold on, that time when we went to the park,
right?
That little boy, that's what he has?
Right, so cerebral palsy. So the thing is, they have an injury in the brain, whether in pregnancy or post-delivery, meaning after she's delivered, or some complication might have happened either there or early into their livelihood, so their infancy stage. They might have had a seizure or some difficult birth, and that caused them to have some neurological deficits. So the thing is, people tend to write them off. So I tend to have a special love for the special community, because it's not that they can't do things. It's just that, like you realize, having gone through this injury, it just takes a little bit of adjustment, some modifications, and, just listening, hearing what they're saying, and then just modify the little things, and good support always go a long way.
Oh, yes, definitely.
But
when you are a part of the disabled community, you need a lot of support.
Good support. It helps a lot.
Yeah.
Not even just the disabled
Mentally
community, because even persons who have had like a fracture, or, just any little thing at all. Actually, generally, people I think need good support, but as a disabled person, you need a little bit more physical support. So everybody can use emotional support, but the physical support is what I think a lot of us are lacking.
Okay.
But it does help recovery-wise too.
Yeah, do you see like a lot of spinal cord patients? Like, what percentage of your patients you would say?
Right now,
cord,
just you.
Judge, I'm special.
You're special, just you.
Yo,
But
special man.
I've had a few in my very short career. In my experience back in my day. I'm kidding, but in my limited experience, I've had a few. We've had to do rotations at like Sir John Golding Rehab Center. You've been there too, so
Big up Sir John Golding.
right,
Big up all
every
his
time.
staff.
So
Yeah, man.
right, so I've had a rotation there as an intern where we get to see more spinal cord injuries, but what should I say, the likelihood of seeing them more is like once you've left mono rehab, a lot of them don't have, the sad reality is that they don't have the support or the financial means to get the care that they need, so you don't really find them as much. And then by the time they leave mono rehab, most times they would have plateaued, meaning that they've gotten all they can from rehab majority of the time. I'm not going to say, because as I always say, I'm not God, but majority of that rehab that could have happened would have happened then, and then they're left at home to fend for themselves. Right.
I mean, what do you think we could do as a country to kind of integrate disabled people into society? Like, we find that we don't see a lot of disabled persons like in corporate organizations, or even just like regular jobs. I mean, the amount of disabled people that you see, if you even see any, like very limited. Do you think that we really like pay attention to the disabled community as much as we should?
That's been a sore thumb. But it's been a sore thumb because he has a sore thumb, guys. Don't come for me.
Yo.
But that's been an issue that we've had conversations about it, because a lot of the times, even just taking a walk in the community, the sidewalks are not built for wheelchairs, so we're oftentimes in the road.
Compliant.
Right, so it's like even just as simple as having wheelchair accessible ramps. So you'll see that oftentimes you'll go, they have disability parking, but no ramp to go up on there. So it's like,
yeah, like disconnect.
Right, so that's an infrastructure perspective, right? But then there's also oftentimes people tend to stare, and we're not often. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but when you're not used to something, it's hard to look away. It's like a train wreck, right? You can't look away.
Stroll, like,
yeah, everybody,
kids,
even people you don't know, it's like hi, and they're tooting you and things. So the thing is, my thing is, see the person first, not their disability. That's what I always say. So before you had a spinal cord, you were Kevin, and you're still Kevin because you have your mind intact, right? So you're Kevin. So see Kevin and approach him as Kevin, not spinal cord Kevin. You know what I mean? Fair. And I think,
don't
just have a conversation.
Spinal cord Kevin, you're sitting on the road, Approach me as Louis or Kevin, yeah?
Right, but and then the thing is, asking goes a long way. You can simply say, hey, I don't mean to be rude, but, do you mind telling me about your condition? It's a learning experience and so forth. The other time when we had gone to the park, there was a family there. They had some kids, and we had some of the same cerebral palsy kids running around, and then you're in the wheelchair, and they were kind of nervous and afraid to approach. And I was like, no, man, he's cool. I'd rather you ask than you assume,
Yeah, people.
So,
I was at the park, and two girls walk over to me and say, can I come and talk to you? I was like,
that's after me coaching them, like, hey, it's okay. I promise he won't bite. But yeah, and I mean, that was good because they were then able to explain to the kids, like, hey, I mean, she's the little girl at the time, she's not running and walking like us, but this is why. And then kids are usually more forgiving than adults because they were just running and playing like no tomorrow, and they also had said, why she looks so, some, maybe, how kids are. They'll say certain stuff, and then I appreciated, that they corrected them and they say, no, don't say that. And then they were able to explain that. So being educated is one, meaning you don't have to do no big research, but just to be mindful, being educated, just to say, okay, this is what it is. this is what this person might look like, and don't stare. Please do not stare. It is very rude in general, and it's even more rude
I
when
know
you
something
do
that
inside
you really
disability
think people don't even
community.
care. Like, we just them a stare and we just shake my head like, yo.
I guess because you get used to it. But I mean, even I say don't stare, not just because there are mothers that carry their kids as well. And then, you know, when you're at clinic, it's okay because you have like-minded persons or like-minded people there. But then when you go out into the community, like say even to the supermarket, it's like you have this big child, you know, unable to hold up them head and the head is bobbing. Mother, hold the head good, this, and they don't understand, you know. So, and then they're staring like, oh, what should do for the... No, just don't stare. You can ask. If the person is rude, just respect their wishes. But I would say the best thing is to ask, hey, can I help you? Or do you need some help? And oftentimes they may not, because, I mean, there are certain things that you can do. And I literally, you know, nope, don't do it for him. Let him do it, because you want to be as independent as possible.
Yeah, and I'm cool, people. I'm very receptive. I remember it was a 5-year-old boy. So about that age group. Like I was passing, it was like the boy was just staring at me. And his mom was like, you can talk to him, and the little boy just come out and stand up and have a conversation with me, and I asked him
As if there's
why
no
me in a
tomorrow.
wheelchair. And I was trying to explain to him as best as I could.
But,
He
you
was
know,
just
in
there
their
like,
little minds, they
you know
don't
what I
really
mean?
understand. But
It's like it was the first time he was probably
seen
seeing somebody
somebody like that. Right, and I guess in that same birth, parents can sensitize their kids if they see, because I don't think there's a necessary need to just go and say, hey, teach them just so, because they may not understand. But if you see somebody like that, say, hey, you know, this person is in a wheelchair because maybe they're not able to walk properly, or they need some help or something like that. So when they see it, it's not, mommy, look at that man in the wheelchair, because, you know, we've had a couple of that too, of those. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sometimes as well, like when I'm before my injury, like I used to see people in wheelchair, and I would just like, okay, yeah, that person is in a wheelchair, and I just pass by without even really thinking about why the
about
person
the
is in a
complexities
wheelchair.
of the wheelchair.
It's like you never really see certain things until you are
In the
like in the
situation, or no
situation.
persons in the
Yeah,
situation.
are close to you, because you see somebody in a wheelchair, like, oh my, the guy is in a wheelchair, or the lady in a wheelchair. But we never really stop to think, why is the person in the wheelchair?
Or what
Or how
possibly, what
how the
could...
person feel. You know, like when we are looking, like persons who are
Yeah.
able-bodied looking at them in a wheelchair. So, but no, we know it's still like, every time, everywhere we go, people, I look for
Yeah,
me like,
and I
no.
guess you get used to it, so you've learned how to handle it. But that's, I guess, because it could be a personality too. You have some people who are just antisocial and they just don't want to be spoken to per se,
True.
or
But
they
me
don't
not
want to be
antisocial,
approached.
you know that me not antisocial.
Not you, but or other persons. You know, they're so used to people just staring there, like, oh, please just stop looking. I just want to get to where I need to go and come back
I
home
actually
without the
find it funny though.
conversation.
I actually find it
Yeah.
funny when them stare. Doesn't really matter to me. You know how
Yeah.
long my friend try to get me go to the beach still from like year and a half now.
Yeah, you know, what's the
And
reason for not going?
people, you know how it is. Sometimes you plan, but then on the day maybe something come up.
Yeah. That's why. Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
We'll get you there,
But this
you
year is going
know.
to be different. I'll be on the road a lot.
Right.
Yeah, man. You'll see me and think. Yeah.
Which would be good, which I guess that's another aspect of physio we can probably touch on, the hydrotherapy we call it, which is just physio in water. So that's why I've been strongly encouraging my friend here to go to the beach, because, you know,
I'm encouraged.
right.
I'm going.
Right. So after 1 year plus, but we're not going to talk about it. But it's good because, you know, you can do a lot more things in the water that you would be able to do on land. For instance, if you stand up on land, you're bearing the whole of your body weight. Versus when you're in the water basically kind of keeps you afloat-ish while you're able to move the limbs and so forth. And then there's a lot going on internally that, you know, I'm not going to go into the mumbo-jumbo science of it, but there's a lot going on.
You know what you mean. People,
Right.
when you stand up, all of your organs, them and your bowels, them function better. That's what you mean.
No, I mean, in the water, you just have the support of the water. But there's a lot more going on, meaning regulating, okay, I stand this, I have this. You know, there's a lot the brain is doing to regulate the movement and so forth. And especially if you add a little turbulence, it's a lot harder. If you notice, sometimes when you walk even with water, when you're able to go to the beach, you find that it's a lot harder to walk through the water than just walking on
the
land.
resistance.
Right.
With your muscles and things.
Right, and you build muscle, and it does a lot more, trust me. I'm a water baby, a big water baby. But outside of that, it's really good. The hydrotherapy is pretty good.
I'm gonna try to do some of that this year, people.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna try
change
to
of
go.
scenery too.
Yeah.
You know, instead of, you know, always eat at the gym or we'll take our strolls, but though change of, because even when we went to the park, you saw how it, you know, it was a breath of fresh air. You know,
Yeah.
you're
And
able to just interact with more persons,
true, that was good.
relax a little
Except for the
more.
mosquito them still.
Oh God, yeah, those
Except for
mosquitoes were.
the mosquito them went terrible. Like 7 o'clock.
Yeah, like, I feel
Some
like they were like, all right,
swarm of
ready,
mosquito come down
let's
and
go.
you
But
know trust me, it's wicked because me can't learn about the mosquito them in the
oh
people.
gosh, yeah,
Once Natalia and
that was a
everybody else
spectacle. Everybody's like, and we're funny. Like, oh yeah, that was interesting to
yeah,
say
yeah.
the least.
Yeah,
But
it's funny.
yeah, you make good memories too. You know,
Yeah.
and then that also helps to regulate your mental health as well. You know, you out of your space where you're not seeing the four walls all day, especially if you don't have anybody to take you out of the bed. Not you, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
meaning general population. You're able to go out, you change your scenery, you know, you get like a cool breeze blow from your face a little bit, you know, like a sun maybe in your eyes, not comfortable, but you laugh because those are little things
Feel
that you
some
would have
water on
missed.
your body instead of like
You know?
going to bed bath.
Right. So little things like that, and it helps to kind of just reset and be like, hey, there's more to life than my injury, which is another thing that I
Which is
wanted
which
in
is
there.
what we want people to actually recognize and
Right.
acknowledge
There's
in
more
general.
to life than a spinal cord injury, a stroke, any injury that you name. There's more to life than it. And initially, it would be rough, which you can contest. Of course, it's gonna be rough. It's like, okay, you're able to walk around, move around, do your thing, and then all of a sudden, somebody has to do things for you. It's not a comfortable feat, but then you realize, okay, you know, the Bible talk about being our brother's keeper. This really show you say you have to be a brother's keeper, and vice
And
versa.
that is another rough part of the journey. Well, not now, but before. Because being someone who is independent and having to have somebody to take care of 24/7.
It's
like,
not easy.
no,
Not easy at all.
not
And then y'all
easy.
men with the pride.
No,
Can
no,
the
no.
ladies give me an amen?
And the OCD
And the OCD and the
Jesus.
paranoia. It's like, okay, now I have to adjust to somebody else doing things, not necessarily the way I want to do it, but it's a lot of adjustment. But
And
I would
sometimes you
also say,
second guess things too, because you know, I mean, I know you want to do it, but you learn after a while. You kinda
right,
learn.
and then you realize, okay, there's maybe 2, 3, 4 ways of doing one thing, even though you're used to
Facts,
one or
facts.
2 ways. Yeah, and I would also say the persons who are going through it, spinal cord wise or stroke wise, remember that your family members are also going through it. So sometimes a little smile or a joke
That
here
right
and
there is a
there.
very important thing
Yeah.
you touched on, because you being the patient, like your loved ones, they actually go through the same thing as you.
Similar. I wouldn't say same, but
Well-
they're going through it with you. Let's say
Well,
that.
well, yeah, you're right.
Right, so
But
they're going through it with
it
you.
feel like it sometimes, you know, it's just like when you have like a child and them sick, and then you like
You as a
probably
parent,
feel,
you feel like, oh my gosh, I
I'm probably
can't do
child
anything
like
about
feel
it.
so still, but
But you feel
like,
it more,
yeah,
right?
like you say, yo, oh my God, I want that to go through.
Right, and then you want to help, but there is only so much you can do. So I can understand that. I mean, outside of, yes, you have the physical part of the, like, you have to take care of them physically. Remember, there's also the mental health, there's spiritual health. So sit down, talk with them, pray with them. All of those things
True.
go a far away, you know, and you as the caretaker or the family member, do take care of yourself as well, because it's very important. I always tell people, if you don't take care of yourself, your body will ensure that you do.
Oh,
Right, so
my.
you know, and you can't take care of other people if you can't take care of
Yeah,
yourself.
wait till somebody start telling you to take care of
You
yourself,
understand?
yeah.
Because then that's another. Maybe you're gonna have to come check me, you know.
Which is not really a bad thing, you know.
No, but you
still,
don't want to get to that point.
Yeah.
You can check me before you get to that point. Because also the prehab to, you know, meaning to prevent injuries.
Yeah, talk a little bit more
About
that.
prehab. All right, so prehab, again, it goes right across the board. It could be mostly for athletes to prevent injuries during their season, or even the elderly population, because you know, we can relate. Our parents are hard to discipline, right? So they want them independence and they want to stay in the house by themselves. So prehab would be, okay, instead of waiting until they've fallen, we help with them balance and their strength so that they're able to be independent without the injury. Yeah, what I mean. So basically, as it sounds, prehab, rehabbing before the injury.
Which we
Yeah.
need to practice as a society.
Right. So, and of course, you know, I always say, like, my motto, mind, muscle, connect, meaning just keep moving. Your mind, your muscle, everything is connected. Your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, all of that is
The
connected.
mind is a muscle for it.
Right.
I just actually buy one
Exercise it.
shirt like that, you know, saying
Mind is a muscle. Yeah.
It's
It's powerful in
just
detail.
like what I say. Makes sense,
But
you know, it really
it does, and that's the things. And you know what helps with all of that? exercise.
Yes.
And exercise don't mean going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. It just means you keep moving, whether it be walking for 10, 15 minutes a day until you can do like half an hour, or cycling, or just, I always say, put on some music and dance. That's like the easiest fun exercise if you like dancing. If not, you can, you can do yoga, you have Pilates, so you have a whole wide range of exercises. But I just always say, just keep moving. Don't wait till you have an injury.
Pause a second. Let me know yoga. When it's on you say a while ago?
Pilates.
What it again?
It's kind of like yoga, but I think the women tend to want to do it. So it's more like stretching and breathe work, and yeah, it's a little similar to yoga, but the moves
It's like
are
a
also
variant
different. Kinda, it's a different category altogether, but it's similar in terms of the movement and stuff. But they have different movements. Both of them focus on breath work, because breathing, who would have thought, right, is very important.
Yeah.
But controlling the breathing,
that,
right? So.
Or you started like your own business, like what do you call it again? Kinetics, where you is it Kinetics?
Kinetics, that's Kinetix.
And tell people to check out the thing too. Tell them.
Right, guys, I'm not very good with social media. I apologize, but if you message me, you'll get me. So I have an Instagram page, and I have WhatsApp, which I'll give the information at the end, or probably have them, put it in the caption. But it's pretty young. I've started. It's a physiotherapy services ish. I'm not really 100% sure where we're going with it yet. But basically, I provide home physio. Right, you learn along the way. So for now, it's more physiotherapy related. I do a little bit of personal training, but it's not really my cup of tea. But right now I used to work at the hospital at Cornwall Regional Hospital in Montego Bay, but I recently left, and now I'm on my own doing my own thing. So support.
Yeah, she a boss up. She a boss up.
Trying to, but as I say, I love my two loves right now. I mean, I love physio in general. I can't see myself doing anything else. But right now, I think I have a special love for the women's health community. I want to train persons before they want to get pregnant, and then afterwards, because oftentimes you wait till when they're pregnant and they realize, oh, they can't exercise, and then the delivery and everything afterwards is rough. So I want to do that.
Yeah, exercise is important during pregnancy.
Oh, yes.
Helps with, the muscle there.
Right. So we call it the pelvic floor muscles. And even post-delivery, like, pregnancy is traumatic on the body, to say the least. So, we want to help you to strengthen back your abs, strengthen back the pelvic floor, everything related, surrounding it as well. So you'll be able to carry the baby well. I mean, it won't be easy still for some, but, we try to make it as easy as possible.
Is this a myth or is a fact? Where babies... But them say that when after pregnancy, when the infant is breastfeeding, like it actually pulls in the stomach. So
it is true actually. So it helps to contract the uterus, everything. Because remember, when you're pregnant, well, not you.
Breastfeed.
If you can, not everybody can, But what happens is pregnancy literally pulls your organs all over the place to make space for this growing baby. So when you breastfeed, it literally kind of pulls it back up, so everything kind of goes down or up. It's like it kind of pulling back into place. Right. So what people don't talk about is after pregnancy they do have contractions, but it's not as bad as before. So that let me not say contractions, more like cramping, because I thought, I mean, I don't have any kids yet, but I thought that okay, once you deliver, the belly goes down. The belly goes down and everything is all bliss. But having seen cousins and my sister-in-law, it's like, okay, so there's still more after this. Okay. And it really fascinated me, because I'm like, okay, how can I help my loved one feel less pain? So that's another area that I'm diving into. Haven't dived in yet. Dove in, whatever the word is. I haven't jumped in yet. Right. So that's one area. And then also the kids. As I said, I love the kids. The thing with kids it takes a lot of patience. Not a lot of people have the patience, and you have to be very consistent. Very consistent. And
well, you're not gonna have no problem with that, so you're pretty consistent.
Well, true, but so I love the kids, love the women's health. So that's kind of where I'm heading towards. But I think I just love everything, and I just need to.
Yeah, because we know you love dancing too. Because remember when we just meet you, and tell me what dancing thing, and tell me say you used to dance.
Don't let them ask me to dance.
Yeah, no, sir, no.
But yeah, I love dancing, and dancing is actually a good way to exercise. It helps with the balance, the endurance, the strength. You know, you're doing some all kind of things if you're really into certain dance. And then as Jamaican dancers, you know, the little dance I'll do. Hey, you ever try to do a half an hour that Jay? No, it's not actually. I used to dance. But yeah, I used to dance for a company at UWI. So I used to dance at UWI Dance Society, and then this company called Arbest Dance Collective. So that's where I had a little bit of dance experience. I'm no professional people, but I can do my thing.
Yeah, so she said, because you see her dance already, people, and you know if we ever agree with that, but
See me dance? No, not me. But yeah, so so as I said, there, you know me, I try to incorporate a lot of things. So I did dance, and I have a friend that I used to train like home workouts, and she used to be like, "Why not? You find everything around the house to exercise." I'm just like, yeah, why not? You don't have to go to the gym. And people tell me the excuse that I often hear is that we don't have enough time. People, if you can brush your teeth, you have enough time. I tell my patients, do some squats while you're brushing your teeth. You know, get it in. You're cooking around the sink. You can march on the spot. You know, there's so much that you can do in, you know, and
yeah, but all
believe
of
me,
this
it goes
kind
a
of
far
fear,
way.
you know, how practical is it though for you?
It is. I've done it myself. If you brush your teeth, that's 2 minutes right there. If you stand up and march for 2 minutes,
because you're a
that.
seasoned person in that regard.
Yeah.
Warm to the average person, them not go find that so easy for them.
It's not easy. It's not easy, but you have to program your mind. Remember, they say, you know, the mind is a muscle. So you have to work it. So it has to start up here. So if you have to know how bad you want it. That's why I say I don't force people to exercise. I don't force you to want better for yourself. I explain the benefits and I explain what you need to do. Because I'm only a facilitator. I always tell you I can only guide you with the information that I have. I guide you and I carry you. I'll hold your hand along the way. But if you have your part to play too, you know, I always tell you he gets homework all the time, you know. So you have your homework.
Big man line with you.
Still getting homework.
School, you know,
right? Yeah. So you have to know how badly you want it. You know, do I want to wait till I have high blood pressure? And you know, high blood pressure is rampant in Jamaica. Diabetes. Do you want to wait till, you know, I always said, do something before something do you? My motto.
Facts.
Do something before something do you. So don't wait until you're on the other end of the scale before you say, all right.
I think we used to do pretty well before the whole injury. We never used to be very consistent, but
you try a thing.
Yeah,
you try a thing.
Wake up in the morning and do like a push up them and different type of push up and things. So
which counts. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to do anything big for a long period. I mean, it's better if you do like a routine thing for 3 to 4 times a week. That's the ideal. But if you can't do that, I'd rather you do 10 minutes a day. If you even do 2 minutes a day to start, I'd rather you do that than nothing at all. Because 2 minutes a day can go a long way till eventually you can do 5,
that used to bother
10 and so forth.
That used to bother me a little bit after the whole incident. Like, you know, when it just, when you wake up in the morning and you can't even do some
so you
push
stretch up and you can't stretch
yeah,
and
can't do none of that kind of
right. So
I mean, affect people, but
let them know that they have to exercise, you know, so that they don't take for granted the things that you wish you could do, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, do everything what you need to do now. No wait till something happen here. Yeah, for real.
And don't just say yes, no, you know, because, you know, you'll be motivated and inspired. So I can tell you from a personal experience, I've always been athletic, so to speak. However, I guess like everybody else in the pandemic, I was on and off exercising. No, they can't see. But you know, I guess I used to have a lot of activities that keep me busy, so that would be my exercise. You know, when you're in your adult body, I don't know what happens after 25, but you know, your adult body kicks in and your hormones start acting up and everything starts slowing down. You understand? So it's a lot harder to lose weight than before. And during the pandemic, I had gained a lot of weight. I mean, a lot for me. People look and say, you did gain a little weight. Well, it never was so bad, but it was fat for me. Though, okay.
No comments.
It was fat for me. But then I understood where some women go. It's like you want to exercise and you want to do what you need to do, but then it's like, what's the point? Because I start today and it's not working. But you have to understand it took years to get to the point where you were before. So like if you're putting on weight, you don't just eat today and put on weight tomorrow. You know what I mean?
No, some people eat today and put on weight tomorrow.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it don't just stay on. So if you put on weight tomorrow, it not just stay on just so you would have to continue eating more than you're supposed
No,
to.
then why make so much female complain about weight? Them eat
You're
today,
not
they put on
drawing
weight
me. You're
tomorrow.
not drawing
And
me
the other
out
day
with
they
that.
broke. No.
You're not drawing me out with that. But what I mean is that your lifestyle has a lot to do with it, right? So I had to mentally prepare myself to say, okay, I'm not comfortable with how I'm looking now. I need to do something about it. And mentally say it got to a point where I didn't even want to take any pictures. I walked past the mirror because I just didn't like what I was seeing. So I said, all right, I don't like it. Instead of complaining, complaining does nothing but stress me out more. I said, all right, I'm going to commit to myself. And I said, all right, I'll just take it small steps every day. And that's what I did. I started the gym,
gradual
and I
moves.
said, all right, I know I can train myself, but I got a trainer. So it was more like an accountability thing. So I said, all right, every day, if I go and I don't feel like it, I pay my money, so you have to train me. Meaning like you don't want to waste your money. So you go and you show up, and trust me, those mornings when you
Motivation
feel like you don't want to go, those are the times where you feel much better, like I did it. And then that builds discipline in other areas as well.
Yeah.
So I'd encourage you, it starts up here. How body do you want it?
She's
How
a very
body you want to
disciplined
change?
person for real still.
I try.
Which
I
me have
do try.
some, well, I have little bit still. Well, may I learn little bit.
You'll get there. And that's the thing. I wasn't always where I am. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, yeah, man, I had everything together. No, it took a while of me saying, all right, Nat, let's go. Because before that, I was going to the gym maybe 3 months and then another 6 months are out. So, I mean, outside of when I was dancing and stuff, meaning started working, of course, you have less time and so forth. But outside of that, I was like, all right, this is enough. I don't like it. Let me do something about it. And it's paying off. I'm not going to say I'm where I need to be yet. We still have a little around the belly that we want to take off. But, hey. But, we keep moving. Catch me summer 2023, okay?
So we have to work on the summer body.
Summer body 2023.
I mean, so
yeah.
what I want, so you know, I work on my summer body.
We've been working though. You know that we get the abs going
so
in.
I tell people so we've been working on summer body now.
All right, we're going to start working.
Jaja.
Kidding. Don't worry, man. We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Here the $1 billion question I'm going to ask,
In my $1 billion, meaning I get the $1 billion.
Well, we can share.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
So, what is it like working with Kevin?
What is it like? Oh boy, I'm kidding. I'm
I'll
kidding.
I'll get up.
Yeah, man, go on. What go for there, son? Go back.
Hold on.
I mean, that's typically how our days are, how we are now. It's been, let's say, a roller coaster because most days are good. Let me be honest. Most days are good. We can reason. We talk about any and everything. We have a pretty chill relationship. We'll walk some days we push him, some days you have to add a little scolding to the hey, trust me, I know what I'm doing. But oftentimes you might project your paranoia and your fear and have to be like, hey, when you do that, it makes me unsure of it, so you have to be like, but apart from that, it's been a pleasure. I mean, it's been a year and I'm still here, so I mean that should say a lot, right?
Well,
so but it's been an interesting journey so far. I have no complaints really. It's been interesting because, as I say, it makes me have to be creative because oftentimes, apart from when your caretakers are here, it's really just me, so.
Yes, big up my caretakers then.
Love them.
Them run go hide. We tell them something for us stable.
I don't know why they're hiding from us, but it's cool. So, I mean, when I have the help with their, they'll help me to take you out of the bed and so forth. But for the most part, it's me, which makes it a little bit more difficult. So I have to be more creative in finding, okay, I want you to lift up your hand, but all right, instead of me doing it for you, how can I do it? How can you do it and so forth?
Oh, yes, people, she's more task oriented than like hands-on.
Yeah, not necessarily hands-on because initially I had to be hands-on, right?
Well,
because you could not nothing. You could have a little bit.
Why?
Yeah, man, you had a little something,
True, but
right,
a far journey.
It's true, and we have a good distance to go. But initially I had to be more hands-on because I had to get you doing more the facilitation and the moving for you while you try to do it until eventually got more movement. Your supination. Yeah, man, give me the terms, man. When you show up on me, you say, yeah, man, let them know. Right.
Yeah, man, people, we could have been one physiotherapist right now. If my limbs them didn't work, I could have been a physiotherapist. No joke. Hold on, that look like I want side. One side eye.
Yeah, you could have been.
Alright. All right.
I'm kidding. Yeah, he and I admire that about you. Not a lot of people can explain what's going on at every step of the way. If I say, Kev, what the doctor say, him can reel it out from start to finish, which is good, and it helps me because I'm like, all right, I wasn't there physically, but I can have an understanding of what's going on. A lot of people, or the doctors will tell them all the scientific terminology, and they don't understand. They're like, him say me have this, or them say fracture or break, and I'm like, no man, it's the same thing. And I'll explain to them, it's the same thing. But when you have an understanding of where your injury is and what you're expected and so forth. Not to say using that to say, boy, me have spinal cord at this, I mean, not, but it's just to be aware of what's going on and be hopeful of what's to
Yeah,
come.
we try to know as much as we can. People, that's
Right.
how we stay still.
Right,
Number
and I
one.
would encourage other people to do that as well. Always, I tell people, I mean, the doctors might not like it, but ask them 10 times. If you don't understand, you have a right to know. Ask them.
Like, I actually talked to one doctor over the phone, and the doctor was like,
Wow.
wait a minute, wait a minute. No, man, but it's well, anyway, you learn these things.
Exactly,
So I say, yeah, no,
But
man,
nobody's saying that you have to use the terminology, meaning
Yeah,
like you say,
you don't have to,
pronation, which is turning the hand down, or
But you want people to
supination.
say
But you want
understand,
right, and I mean, even when I say certain things and I know, I still try to explain because I don't take it for granted that you will remember everything, and then not just you, but I try to make it a practice with other persons as well, because I don't take it for granted that you might know. Because yes, I'm in the field and I've been seeing people like this all the time, but it doesn't mean that everybody I come in contact with knows exactly what's going on. Even sometimes they come with the x-rays and I'm like, you know what's going on? No, this. And then they start walking on the foot. So I said, no. There's a reason why the doctor says do not walk on the foot. And I show them and I point it and I say, okay, this is where the fracture is. This is
Like
what it is. Da 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 da.
I think over here when I
Oh,
when I conversation they say the
right.
person I think you saw the person the day before and the other day the
Yeah.
person was calling to say like
His
the experts
daughter
say,
is a stroke. So
"They never walk."
he told his daughter that he wanted to walk for his birthday. Mind you, it's a stroke. Can't move anything on the left side. But he wants to walk for his birthday in February. But I was like, sir, I'm not God. I'm just a messenger.
But him probably just not understand still.
He doesn't. And I mean, as I say, I can understand. It's hard to grapple with when you're walking today and then tomorrow somebody's doing everything for you. It rough. I won't tell you. Well, true. I mean, but it rough. So and then that's another thing that we have to communicate. I never speak in negatives or extremes. I'm not gonna say yeah man, right, positive, but in the sense that I'm realistic as well. So I'm not gonna say, oh, you'll never walk again. I will say something like, the likelihood of you walking again is slim, but I am not God. You've heard that line so many times.
And that's why the reason, cause
yeah,
me like how you reason. So
right.
That's why I talk to you them way.
For true, and yeah. I'm never gonna say no man, that not happen, because I've told you the story about there is a patient I had not me, but I saw him and he was supposed to be a complete injury, complete meaning that can't move anything below the injury, and them tell him say no, him now walk again. Everybody tell him, even I'm gonna say in my naivety or my young physio self, I was like, boy, I'm not really sure, but 2 twos after I
they just tell people and say, yo, look, there's no prognosis. Don't say, yo.
You won't ever?
You won't ever. Just say it.
Well, to be fair, it has its place, because some people need to hear that. I'm not going to say it, but some people need to say it. So
no,
I would
but
say,
say personally, I don't think if you tell nobody that though.
Them
like, even though science, I don't think if you say,
because they might play it in them head and say that's what they accept.
Walk again. No,
yeah. I mean, I agree. That's what I said. So I said it's unlikely that you'll do that again, but so I'm making you know that here, this is the severity of the situation. However, anything can play. Healing can happen. Healing is not linear either. So sometimes it might be good today and not so good tomorrow. In any area of your life, whether it be physical, health-wise, mental health-wise, it's never just, all right, going on the top of the mountain and stay. No, some days are here, some days are there. Right, so that's why I tell them I don't speak in the negatives, because as I was saying, the patient that I saw left Mona rehab because they're saying plateau, nothing more, now what, nothing. And maybe like a month or 2, maybe 3 months, I don't remember the exact time, my friend had sent me a video of him walking with a walker. Mind you, it don't look like, regular walking, but he's moving around, like him push the walker and him swing.
Independent.
It is, he was independent because there was nobody holding him. He was pushing the walker himself and him swinging hip, because I think he only had hip movement and You know, same make it catch and he made it work.
She had to lie.
He cut your leg. But you know, that's why I say for me, I never say nope, this is not going to happen. And as I say, science is there, but we also have the faith component of it. So you determine how far you will go.
Yep.
So,
your mind.
So that's why, you know, the paranoia comes in. I'm like, Kev, you can't think that way, because when you think that, that's what your brain don't know when you're joking. So if you say, boy, I got drop, me afraid for drop. Your brain not gonna say, all right, afraid, you know. The brain just say, all right, drop, drop. You understand? So be careful what you're telling your mind.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's not to downplay what you feel.
But a long time that's still.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know,
that's true. That's true. We had to.
Trust me, people. Like, we don't think nobody. We don't think no other
we had a bump.
Spinal cord patient paranoid like this.
Yeah, I mean, there's
That's,
still some.
In the back of my mind, initially, I was like, every day I'm supposed to improve. You know? I don't want to fall back. None of that.
Oh so gosh, remember with the neck, you never even want to lift your neck all the way back, because why? The neck, you know, the neck strong, you know, one thing there. Oh gosh, it was a whole fiasco to get you to say, Kevin, your neck not going just drop off just so you know. God, the body don't just work like that. But, you know, and then you still need to come back, you're like, wait, it's not that bad.
Wait.
It's not that bad. You realize.
Hey, you know, we can laugh about this. People couldn't even move. Oh God, man. Chop.
Yeah, it's true, but I mean, it's good to look back sometimes where you're coming from and know that, okay, this is where I was, this is where I am now, but this is where I want to go.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, what do you want to leave with the people them now in the disabled community? Like, what do you want to say to them, you know?
To them or to persons who have to encounter them?
Both. To them and persons who have to encounter them.
Just keep swinging. Just keep moving to both. It's rough. You're not alone. Let me start by saying that they're not alone. You're not alone.
No.
Right. You know, there's always somebody there that willing to listen, willing to hear. When you get frustrated, take a moment to just breathe. Literally breathe. Like, close your eyes. And you'll find that, you know, you do that for like a minute. See? And you felt better by one breath. No, sir. But, you know, just breathe and understand that you still have life for a reason. And I know it's cliche. I don't usually like to do the cliche business, but it is true. You have life for a reason. No, you can go through and be miserable for the rest of your life, or you can say, all right, this is what I have to deal with, so I'm going to just soldier on as best as I can. And it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to be sad. You're not allowed to feel what you're going through. Like, you're allowed to feel
you're allowed to express your emotions.
Right, you're allowed to express your emotions, but you also have to be mindful that at the end of the day, you still have to be mindful. Just like any other person, when you have a toddler or a child, you know, a lot of them can be lippy, and when they're angry, they throw themselves down and they're wailing and they're throwing a tantrum. No, that's not appropriate behavior. I would say the same thing for them. You can express yourself. If you can speak, you can express yourself in a way that people will understand, so it doesn't always feel like you're hard to deal with. You get what I mean? You know, be mindful of how you speak to others, but also be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. And to the persons around,
don't beat up yourself.
Literally, don't beat up yourself, because when you're hard on yourself, you miss the progress. Definitely, you know, and then sometimes you just have to not look back and saying, boy, I used to could have this. It's good to look back and feel sad for not being where you used to be. You know, we've had conversations about that, but also look at where you're coming from. You know, when you couldn't move anything below the neck, now you're able to lift the hands up. You know, you're able to crunch up a little bit. Those small wins are still wins. So don't just feel like you need to get up and walk.
Those small wins are big wins.
Are big wins. You understand? Big brain, you know. Right. So, and the same thing for everybody, generally speaking, just take care of yourself. If it just means like drinking more water a day, like those small steps every single day, they go a far way. So if you never hear nothing else I'm say on this podcast, take care of yourself and drink more water.
And tell the people themselves to like, share, and subscribe.
Oh, definitely. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I catch you YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, go on, man. We don't catch you fully at either, but...
You say like, share, subscribe.
And leave a notification bell.
Hit the notification bell. Leave a comment. If you learned something, if you wanted to ask a question, leave a comment. We'll respond as soon as we can, We're
We
busy
don't say no too.
folks.
We don't say no to them on social media still, but you can leave
Yeah,
the
you
social
know.
media handles with them.
Right. So the kinetics, the Instagram handle is kinetics876, and the Twitter one, I have not posted a tweet since I created it, but hey, I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it. Bear with
One of
me.
the bird wing break off, yeah.
I'm working on it, but it's kinetics876, and my number is. Should I even give my business number? All right. So the business number is 876-472-9202. That's 876-472-9202.
Yeah, we can borrow her still, but we can't get her full time.
Right, and my people contact your people. I kid, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But feel free to reach out. I have no problems answering any questions. I do consultations as well, in the sense that, you might have a doctor's visit, but you're not really sure of where to go next. I mean, I'll have a conversation, in case you need something cleared up. I have no problems doing that as well.
And guys, always try to understand your healthcare providers. Like, make sure them explain everything to you. If you don't understand something, just ask them to explain it. Probably break it down for you so you can get it. So at the end of the day, you need to be also responsible for your health. So just learn your body and just know what you need to do to make yourself improve or get better or to get to some level of independence. So yeah, big up on yourself. Big up Talia for being in the building. They're always in the building.
Right. Behind the scenes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the
So
first time
stimulators,
up
big up on
front.
yourself. Don't know until we talk again for the next episode. See? Alright, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. And you guys can
Notification bell.
also leave topics that you would like us to talk about. See? Yeah, that's it. Alright. Oh, you can check out my Instagram as well. At Louis himself, LEWIHIMSELF. Yeah, man. Blessings.